So, hi everybody, and welcome to the 5 People on the Go, the show that's all about tools and approaches for success from the most brilliant people. So today we have Tal Navarro, and since she's so good in marketing, I'll let her introduce herself. So Tal, tell us about you.
Hi everyone, so great to be here. Thanks for this interview. I am a serial entrepreneur. I am an investor and advisor for Web3 projects and companies. I'm also the owner and the founder of Social Lady, which is a digital marketing agency today for Web3 as well, and the founder of Win Web3, which is a nonprofit to saving women in need through the blockchain.
Amazing. So many questions. I think what people will be most curious about is why Web3? I mean, you can do digital marketing for everything.
Well, Web3, if you want to understand Web3, you have to go back to Web 1 and Web 2. Okay, so let's dive a little bit back into Web 1. Web 1 was the information economy, which means that you had only websites who've been displayed information, but there was nothing you can do about it. You couldn't really reply to it, or it was very static websites on the net. You can only consume information. When Web 2 came to the world, approximately 2004, 2005, I remember those days as if it was yesterday. It was crazy. And you could suddenly create communication in two sides communication. And people could reply, respond. And it was not only the information economy, but it was creation. Everyone could publish and create content, not just consume it. The problem that Web 2 created is that a few giant tech companies like Google and Microsoft and Facebook have conquered the world. They took over. The data belongs to them. So everything that you upload online is not belong to you. It's owned by those giant tech companies. And the problem is that they are able to advertise and they're able to sell it to advertisers whenever they want. There's no limit for them to not use your information as any way that they see it right. So knowing that, and also freedom of speech, see what's going on in Iran, in so many places around the world where you are actually being blocked from publish on social media. So they are actually controlling what we are seeing and what we're consuming and what we live by through those social media platforms. And Web3 came to the world, it actually brings back the power to the people. So now you're not only consuming information and publishing information, you're actually also owning it. So it's not only that there is now a freedom of speech and so many opportunities that are opening with Web3, but you also not selling your data or giving your data to someone who can sell it and do whatever they want with it. You know, you're going to Waze today, right? You're starting to use Waze. Waze knows where you live. They know where you want to go. When you order something from Amazon knows exactly what you need. They know who you are. Those giant companies know everything about you. Uber, they know where you live, where you want to go. They know everything about you. And those big companies are selling our data to others. And that's what Web3 comes to solve. Not only, there's so many other reasons. I mean, social impact. Web3 enable us to, what is Web3? You know, it's money transaction from peer to peer, from one peer to another. It's not anymore, there's no middleman. There are no intermediates that are interfering or someone who's taking part of what we want to transfer, like a bank or like credit card or like, you know.
So what fascinates you in Web3 is mostly just like the power of ownership and just giving the power to the people?
Absolutely. And also the social impact part, which you can actually help. You know, our nonprofit, Saving Women in Need, for example, is where I am able to help women who are sitting in places with no access to financial resources, and I'm able to actually help them finance themselves. And how? Because they're sending me their art, and I'm able to sell it through the blockchain. They have no other ways to sell their art or create any financial access or have any financial access to any financial resources. And this is more than 1.7 million people have no access to bank accounts in the world, which is mind-blowing. And you and I can go to withdraw money from bankat, from ATM. Thank you, I missed the word. And lots of people cannot just do it easily. And it just, and the blockchain give them the opportunity to actually have access to financial resources, which is amazing.
I see. And is it different to do digital marketing in Web3 to Web2?
Is it different, you ask?
Yeah. Is there a difference?
Yes, of course. On Web2, you actually, when you build a business, you are defining what's your business, what is your product, you're defining who's your audience, and you are able to use a lot of tools to bring people into your product and just buy it, like Facebook ads, Google ads, social media platforms, all kind of tools that enable you to publish your product and have people buy your product and have it as their own. But when we're talking about Web3, we're talking about project that people are investing money and being part of that project. It's not anymore they own the product. They buy a shoe and they can buy it online and they can own it and because they need to wear it. But the Web3 talks about digital assets. So a lot of times it's not something that people need to day by day, to day thing like a shoe or clothes. And marketing it is very different than when it comes to Web2 to Web3. Web2, you have the traditional marketing tools where you put an advertisement, you sell something, people are buying it. But on Web3, you are actually building a community. You are creating a project or a platform or whatever it is. Web3, by the way, it's not just PFP projects. It's a lot of things. So you can build your company or your project or your asset or whatever it is. You're building a community. You're creating assets that people are connected to mentally, and also they become partners.
Probably emotionally as well.
Right. What did I say?
Mentally.
Emotionally, yes. Emotionally, yes. So people are investing because they're now investors. They're not just buying a piece and they own a piece, but they're actually part of the project. So in Web3, people who are investing into the project, they're the investor, they are the team, they are the community. There are many things together. So it's the marketing tools are different, and also the marketing tools are different. There's Discord, there's Twitter, there's Telegram, there's what else? There's audio apps like Twitter, like Twitter Spaces.
I'm really curious about communities. So how do you do it? Like, if right now I'm a project or any business that wants to build a successful community, what do you think will be my best practices for it?
Web3, one of its magics is that there's so many components for marketing. There's no one strategy that works for everyone. There's no copy paste that you maybe can do on Web2 and you can create, I'll do an advertisement and then I'll put it on my Instagram, I'll share it on the reel, and that's going to bring the traffic. That's not exist in Web3. Web3, first of all, it's the market. The market now, we're in a bear market. So anything that worked 1 month ago, which is like 1 year ago in Web3 time, it's not working today. And whatever worked a few months ago didn't work last month. And there's so many project examples for so many different strategies that worked that you cannot really build a one strategy. There's no one custom for everyone. For example, the goblins. I don't know if you heard of it, but
of course, the noise, the funny noises.
Exactly. So they had this strategy to create silly noises and create a beautiful website and to be very mystery. The team is undoxed. After you always, preach for projects that you have to be doxed, you have to be out there, everyone has to know you, and then they came, the goblins, and no one knows who's behind it. And they sold out. I mean, it's crazy.
It was crazy.
It was a crazy thing. And then it dropped the price. But everyone dropped recently. But there are an example. There's Frank and his youths. I don't know if you heard of that, but the Solana project. They created an application that asked people to register, and they will choose who is going to have the kind of the allow list or the white list. Okay, but they created an application as if you are registering to university, and you come, you fill in details, and you hope that they will choose you to get the allow list. And this was a massive, massive news it was during the bear market where no one sold anything. They sold out immediately, and they were really, really successful with that strategy. So, and Bored Ape Yacht Club or World of Women, they had completely different strategy because they were in different time, different markets, different people. There are all the time new people and new strategies and new things that happening in the market. What you have to understand when you create a project in order to really succeed in it are a few components. One, you have to look around you. What type of market is it? Are people buying in? What are they buying into? What is the floor price right now for very successful projects? And are people still engaged with those projects? So you need to understand what is that you are selling, define exactly what is your specific product or what is your specific project is about, because that's how you can nail the audience. A lot of time the audience is different. We used to know that the degens are buying everything. Okay, in those times there were good times where degens, as myself, used to buy everything. Everything was hyped. It's in my wallet. But times changed, and people are not anymore diamond holders, and they're not anymore diving into each and every project and not putting money so fast out. The liquidity is less for everyone's wallets, and it is very important to understand that your product has to be really unique or something that people really resonate with in order for them to join and invest in it. So what I would recommend is, first of all, to take the time and build the community. It's not going to happen in 1 month before. A lot of projects are coming to me and say, oh, we want to launch next month. Let's do a marketing strategy for 1 month to grow our community to 20,000. And it's not working like this. Not anymore. Everything is different. So if you want really to achieve success, first of all, you have to understand that there's no anymore sell out in 2 minutes. Not to everyone. Some can do it, but it really depends if you have a recognition, if people know you in the space, if people, how much familiar you are, or how much famous you are, or how much community you came with into that project. So when people are creating a project, they have to understand that it takes time to build a community. And it takes time for people to get familiar with you and trust you. And in order to build a community, you have to work in different avenues. And what I most recommend on is audio apps. Audio app like, Clubhouse. And Clubhouse, some would say, that it's maybe past its time or things like that. But it's very active. It's very strong. It still have a lot of conversations about Web3. And also Twitter Spaces. Twitter Spaces are very important. It's a place where you can meet people. You can create conversations. You can create network. I mean, I can tell you that on Twitter Spaces, I met everyone and everyone. I mean, from Kevin Rose to Ryan Carsolk to every project owner, every person you can imagine that I'm Time Magazine president, which now switched into Moonplay, Keith Grossman. He's a dear friend, and I know him from Clubhouse days, but so many people who are actually can influence your life, your project, your community, and create real wealth of knowledge and information in your community as well, if it makes sense.
It does. And trying to understand if there is a real difference between marketing for Web3 or Web2, because you're talking about audio spaces. I never seen any audio spaces in different industries. So is it different?
Audio apps are here before Web3. They're not really here because of Web3. I've used Clubhouse since I've done digital marketing only. I had 2 rooms per week, everyone a few hours, speaking only about digital marketing, and only about sell funnels and tools to advertise and build your business. And I've been using Clubhouse for many reasons. I see a lot of people are building their communities and conversations about real estate, about life coaching, about digital marketing, about whatever, any subject in the world, about music, about NFTs, about a lot of things, but also before Web3. I have more than 40,000 followers on Clubhouse, and the more you're consistent and the more you are staying in that place and creating conversations, and not only about Web3, you can do it on any subject at all. That's how you really create your community. So I really recommend to use Clubhouse, but not only Clubhouse, but Twitter Spaces if you're in Web3. But by the way, Twitter Spaces is not only for Web3 as well. It's just my little circle is, Web3 oriented, but a lot of people are using it for different. So marketing is marketing on Web2 and on Web3. If you really want to build a community, you have to be consistent. You have to create. You have to be there, show up. Doesn't matter if I was pregnant or if I was traveling or if I was tired or I was sick. I used to have 2 rooms per week on Clubhouse, which I used to appear twice a week without missing any of them and bringing my value and coming to my network and to my communities and showing up and bringing more and more value. And that's how I actually build communities. And that's how I build community today on Twitter Spaces and on Clubhouse and on any platform that I am. By the way, you can do it on Facebook groups, on webinars that you can create, on Zoom. There's so many ways to build the community. But you have to be consistent, you have to be present, and you have to bring value and be authentic and genuine and all the above, of course. But definitely marketing and building communities are, same thing. When in the core, it's the same thing for every industry.
I see. Let's try to break it down a little bit more, because what you're saying, a lot of people are saying all the time. You need to bring value, you need to be authentic, and it sounds like a lot of nice slogans, but people don't know how to actually do it. So
what's the problem to be genuine and authentic? It's so easy. Just be yourself.
What does it mean?
It means that you open a space and you are bringing value to people.
How?
How? You share your knowledge. You share your knowledge. You bring interesting people to the space. You interview them. You are giving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tips per day at least, new information and new knowledge to people who don't know about your subject. You are present, answering questions. You are creating conversations. You are bringing people on the stage. You can answer their questions. You can let them contribute. Just having a flow conversation without charging money for it or without having any agenda behind it. Just being you, just being real, and just really bring real value to people. That's really worked. And you know what? Those slogans are facts. So a lot of people say, oh yeah, I heard it a million times. Be authentic, show up, consistent. Okay, are you executing? Are you doing that? It's great that you heard that. Are you actually doing what you heard? I mean, you're going to hear it a million other times because that's exactly what needs to be done. Showing up, put yourself in the calendar, Monday and Thursday, 9 to 1. I am on that space, giving people value. What do I want to talk about? A, B, C, D. You can create a run of a show. You can bring guests. You can create conversations. You can create interviews. So many things that you can do. And everyone has his own niche. Everyone has his own something that he is good at. Something that value that he can bring that no one else can bring. And you know what? I am doing digital marketing and a million other people doing digital marketing. Millions. Will that stop me from doing that? No, because I have my community. I have my attitude, my approach, my value, which no one else has, and everyone is different. So you are unique. I'm unique. Everyone who is listening to that conversation is a unique human being, and he can create his own value and bring it to others by just be there consistently, authentically, and genuinely.
I love it. So, how do you think you can find your uniqueness? Because, like you said, there's so many digital marketers out there. What makes you unique, and how can other people find their uniqueness?
It's very simple. I'm just being me. Just we said.
That's
Authentic.
another slogan, though.
It's not a slogan, it's facts. I'm just bringing myself. It's not a slogan. You are unique. You don't need to look for how you're going to be unique. You are unique. That's the way you are. You were born this way. You were born who you are with all your uniqueness. Don't need to do anything about it. Mm-hmm. And people are attracted to your podcast because you are there. Now, there are so many other podcasts in the world, but that would register to yours because you have your uniqueness. So when I'm saying being authentic and unique, you don't need to work for it. Just be you. Just be real. Just show up and bring... Look, the fact is, a lot of people are not being consistent for one reason or another. A lot of people are afraid to take the first step because they think it might not look good, what people are going to think about them. Maybe this guy is doing it better than me. Maybe I shouldn't do it because someone else already doing it. No. Show up and, slay it. You got it. Everyone got it. They just need to go on stage and speak. I know it's not simple for everyone. And you know what? Here is a tip. If someone wants to try and see if he's good at something or he wants to practice, start with small room. Go to Clubhouse, invite 2 friends, create conversations with them on a room. You can open a room, a private room, a small room where you can have some people. You can start create conversations and get confidence. And the more you're creating confidence, the more you're creating rooms, you will get more confident. And you will be able at the end to go on bigger stages and just speak. And then at some point, you're going to start your own stages. You're going to start your own conversations and people will show up. I started my conversations. I had 5 people. And then I had 10 people show up in my room. And then I had 20 people. And then suddenly 50 people. And then suddenly when I started to actually promote it and I actually felt there's a move, there's a wave, people are coming to listen to me, I started to create promotional banners and things like that or I started to create a community. I built it. I brought everyone I created a funnel that brought people from my room into my DMs on Instagram, where it took them into a Facebook group. So we have I think we have like 1,200 people in the Facebook group where we're a community, but it built from scratch, from nothing, from zero. And it's just about being yourself, being true to who you are, and just show up. And everyone is unique in his own way. So everyone can do it. It's just a matter of starts, not waiting for the perfect moment because it's never going to show up.
I really like what you said about the funnel. How do you monetize that? Because you said you're bringing people from Clubhouse to your Instagram DMs to your Facebook group. And from your Facebook group, what is their next step?
So there are a lot of ways to monetize. What I do, I have a few funnels that I'm working with for many years now. One of them is definitely the Clubhouse and the Twitter Spaces. And basically what we do, we are on Clubhouse. I used to build not only the conversations, but also gave away notes at the end of every room. So people would know that I had a team in the audience that's sitting and writing notes from the room and creating a note on a PDF that people can download from the group. So then people had to go through a journey or a funnel in order to reach my group. And then they join the group this way. And monetizing ways are different. People can have a consultation time with me. I'm also do advisory. I'm investing in equity in different companies. I am doing full management and support for projects and companies who need to build a presence online or need to create sales funnels or themselves or want to build their projects on Web3, or it really depends what is the need. But when you're building a funnel, you have to build every step and understand, like go reverse engineer it and understand where you meet the person online. So I meet them on Clubhouse, for example, or on Twitter Spaces. I also meet them on our LinkedIn articles. I meet them on our website. We have 2 blogs, English and Hebrew, which have 4 articles per month, newsletter blast that go in every once a week to all the readers. And we have a lot of channels where we build a funnel where people are actually can get value, but they can also then join us to, either a program group that we are launching in order to teach people on how to use the Web3 and the NFTs or how to build their businesses online, or so many things that we are working with. So it really depends what's the need. But if someone wants to build a monetization funnel, he needs to understand where he meets his client, where does he meet the person, and what steps until the sale happen. Mm-hmm. So if he writes an article, okay, what's in the article is going to be a call to action to create the next step. Each time think of the next step. What is the next step for people to approach the next step in the funnel until they get to the last step before the sale.
Interesting. Let's try to break it down, because you said a lot of examples here, but you've been doing it for a very long time. So I'm thinking about someone that's just starting a business, maybe has something pretty similar to what you have, like some sort of maybe a consulting service, something like that. So how do you start? What are the steps you need to take? How do you build like a successful funnel? Just like, let's try to make it practical.
When someone starts a new business, okay, he needs to understand, first of all, defining his own product. Understand what he's selling exactly. If it's a shirt, what type of shirt? Is it a summer shirt? Is it a winter cover? What is that exactly? When you know and define what is your product, the next step is understanding who's your audience. Who are the people you're approaching to? Are they, you need to define them, actually even build a persona. Give it a name, give it an age, status, like where they live, what they do in their free time, what do they love to eat, where do they love to spend what's their hobbies. Learn about them. And when you know what is it that you're selling and who is your audience, you need to understand what type of message is going to fit him. So when you understand what type of message, let's say you're selling a shirt for mothers who are breastfeeding, okay? And then you have to understand where exactly do you find them, what type of messaging you create for them, and that message needs to go exactly to their language, to their feelings, And then when you are creating all that, you need to create the content. So when it comes to online marketing, you have to start to create content, and content, you build content pillars, which are kind of ideas of what type of content you want to bring to that audience or to that person that you're selling to, and also where you can find them. So mothers would be in, on different platforms. Where are they mostly? Maybe mother groups on LinkedIn, mothers groups on Facebook, Instagram pages related to mothers. I don't know, so many. And as a mother, I should know, but I'm not really there. But you need to really define and understand where they are. And when you know where they are, what's going to attract them and how you can find them, what type of message you're going to create, now you have to build. You have to strategize your calendar and your time to understand what do you do that month. So let's say for the week, okay, you want to create for that week one post for Instagram, one post for one blog post, and one reel for whatever, for LinkedIn. There's also reels in LinkedIn. I think so. I think. But when you are creating content, try to create content once a month for all the months, or maybe for 2 months even. It's possible, but it's a whole new conversation. Like, so much to tell about that. Or content you can repurpose as well, which is also very important. But create content that they will resonate with, and create a lot of call to actions. So you have to build where you put your content. What is the call to action for the next, what's going to be the call to action for the next step? of that funnel. So if you want to create the sell, you have to, first of all, build this community, create call to actions chunks, which could be an article on your blog, LinkedIn. LinkedIn has an amazing articles feature that is also been indexed in Google. And if you do a good SEO for it, so it's very important to utilize LinkedIn as much as possible. I love LinkedIn and I use it a lot. But not only LinkedIn, but also Facebook and any platform that you think your audience will be there. Utilize those tools and create emotion in people and create call to actions. So, but there's a lot, we can talk about it for so many hours. I mean, I'm just giving you literally very high level of, what needs to be done. We can go.
That's good, because people talk about it so in such a high level, but you gave pretty practical advice here. You said, build your offer, then get your avatar, like who's your audience, then where easy, like find that place he is and what he's interested in, start building content. And you said LinkedIn articles, which is a great example. Actually, I didn't know that it's into Google. That's really good advice. You said start making reels, start doing content on Facebook. So it's really about just finding where your audience is, building content for it, and then call to action to have a conversation.
Right.
Yeah. So
call to action to go to the next step. So if you want him, if they're bumping into you in an article on your blog, call to action to send them to your email. And that's where they get a link to a YouTube channel, maybe a YouTube video where they can see free 3 tips about whatever it is. Mm-hmm. And then they see the 3 tips and they say, oh, I want to know more. So then there's going to be a link or call to action says, you want to learn more? Please, you can purchase right now the full course for whatever it is, Amazing. So this is like steps that you have to build in your system or in your strategy and then execute it accordingly.
So the funnel you just described will be good for an advisor. Will that be different for Web3 project like we talked before?
Yes. Web3 project. Yeah. Web3 project, it's a lot on personal relationship. It's not, you can't really, it's not something that you sell like you do on Web2, but it's a lot of conversations that you have with real people in real time, with one-on-one. Mm-hmm. And that's why spaces and those type of audio apps are really important for that. But also building a sell funnel on Web3 is different. So you have to strategize your sell funnel. You should. I mean, it's not like you not strategize anything and you just go in spaces and speak, but you have to also try to understand if your project is niched. And if not, it's okay. But if it is, try to understand where is your audience. I worked with a project, that dealt with Kabbalah. And Kabbalah, it's very specific people who are more into it. So we were looking for specific groups and conversations, and we actually even spoke with a Kabbalah center and all kind of, ways to bring audience into that project because it's a very specific niche. There are also broader projects, but it's amazing. Web3, big companies are coming now into Web3. For example, Nike just jumped into Web3.
Adidas, Disney, so many.
Disney, and Starbucks just started the Odyssey with the members can come and have an experience with a coffee, all kind of stuff.
That's brilliant.
Everyone is joining now, and everyone has their audience. So they're bringing the mass into the Web3, which is very exciting because it's just a matter of time that it's going to blow up. I'm just so excited for that. But I think that all of those have also niche audiences. So Nike have their niche audience, Adidas, and of course you can say it's broad for everyone, but their advertisement, they are advertising very niche way, in a very niche way. Sometimes it's for children, sometimes it's for athletes, sometimes it's for mothers, sometimes it's for, there's so many ways to advertise to very specific groups. And in Web3, it's it's a little bit different because also people who are investing in Web3 are not a lot right now. So you can't really approach a specific niche in the Web3 because there are not a lot of people who are in Web3. You know, it is a very new concept, and it is a very small community who are actually understanding the Web3 and knowing how to deal with it. So it's harder to. So it's different anyway. If that's the question, if it makes sense.
So we need to finish soon. But before we're done, I want to hear from you. How do you see Web3 affecting everything we know in the business world and marketing world and everything? Like, what's your opinion? Where it's going to go?
In the future.
In the future.
Well, the way I envision the Web3 is that I think the world needs Web3. I think that Web3 opens amazing opportunities for not only individuals who, as I said before, have no access to bank accounts or live far away from any financial resources, but so it can create a lot of financial impact on people and a lot of amazing things and opportunities for people who actually have no access to financial resources. But not only that, I think a lot of businesses are going to benefit from it as well. I think that having your own data again, it's so crucial. The ownership of your data and the ownership of your assets, that you're not giving it to anyone else. And there, you have a freedom of speech. You can say what you want. No one's going to stop you. You have so much diversity, inclusivity, and equality in the space that you don't have on Web 2, that it's just necessary. I see so many opportunities for women in the space, and I see so many opportunities for business owners that now have the opportunity to reach new audiences in places that they didn't even dream about. So, for example, if you are looking at artists from different places around the world that are now able to have access to buyers and to be able to sell their craft and to be able to actually have access to different galleries online and to be able to sell and make money, which was never done before. It's just unbelievable. And musicians who are now able, for example, musicians in the past, let's do different. Musicians, when we talk about music, a lot of musicians are working with record labels. The record labels is taking approximately 80% of the money that the artist is creating, and 20% goes to the artist. And this 80% is being divided to so many people, middlemen, so many, the producer, the photographer, this and that, and you not even know who else. Some other hands that connected other people. And when it comes to NFTs and Web3, so I feel like Web 2, like Spotify, SoundCloud, Instagram, Facebook, all those platforms enabled musicians to build communities, but the component that was missing for the monetization was NFTs. Because at the end, now a musician can actually publish his songs on the blockchain and have direct access with his community, direct access with his listeners, with his fans, those people who are sitting on not Clubhouse, on Spotify, on SoundCloud, on YouTube channel, on Instagram, and listening to him, are now can also be investors in his project, in his music, and they can sell out his music in few minutes and bring him 80% of the revenues, and 20% might go to them, because if they will resell his content or this music, they can also make money from it. So now they're not only feeling more engaged to that musician or to that artist, but they also are able to make money from the music that they're loving so much. So it's just a huge shift in mindset and in conversation and in the way that the world is going to go, and everything will be more decentralized and more owned like ownership of data and content will be now relevant much more than it was before.
So it's really all about just giving direct access to your community, honestly.
Yeah, it's they are now not only listening to you on Instagram or on YouTube, but they actually own a piece of your work, which is tremendous. I mean, I am now able to buy a singer's song and own it. And for me, I don't want it just to sit on YouTube and listen to it. I want to be part of what he does. It's a part of history. And I know that I am helping him and I'm working with him and he see me. He can see me now. He doesn't see me when I'm with million of other fans or listeners. Now I have his piece. He can see me on the blockchain. Everything is transparent on the blockchain. So he can see who I am. He can approach me. We have community. We can have conversations. I have a direct access to him, which is very, very different and unique when it comes to the Web3.
Interesting. Okay, yeah, I think we will finish with that. Thank you so much, Tal.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. And thank you guys for watching or listening to this episode. I know I got so much value from it, and I hope you did too. We learned about Web3, about sales funnels, about how to build a better community. And if you like this episode, please share it with your friends. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Meital Zehavi, so you'll get the newest content. And we'll see you on the next episode. Bye, guys.